All right, moving slowly through these 30 days of Python for accounting, but we're on day 4 now, so this is exciting. This is another one where we're going to work with Excel, and we're going to use the Openpyxl library. And this one is really useful for working with Excel files, as you can guess. So today's challenge is we're going to use Python to inspect an Excel close workbook that AI made for us and create a lightweight workbook review report. So this will be fun. So it's going to scan our folders, and we just have one folder here. It's this day 4 mock workbook Excel file. It's going to read some CSVs and calculate money safely. It's going to analyze ledger data with pandas and inspect the Excel workbooks directly. So we don't actually have any CSVs. We're probably going to skip that part. So instead, what we're going to do is look just at the Excel workbook. So let's go ahead and pip install the libraries if we need to. Openpyxl, that's what we're going to be using today. And it looks like we're all good. And we loaded several libraries that we'll be using throughout. And let's go ahead and point to the workbook. So the workbook file path is actually right here. So I'm going to copy this path, and I'm going to say workbook path is this, and add some quotes around it. And I'm going to delete this because I don't actually need these pieces, and that's where the location is. And now let's load the workbook in 2 ways. So loading it where we have data only equals false and data only equals true. So data only equals false means that we are loading more than just the data. So if you think about the Excel file, you can look at just the values of what's in a cell, where you can see just what the formulas create. And that's what the data only equals true gives us. But if we do data only equals false, it's going to give us the underlying formulas, which is really valuable. And what might be cool is to do both of them. But and that's what we're doing here. So workbook formulas and workbook values as 2 separate variables that we're loading up, which is pretty neat. And so you can see the values. It gives us a little bit different. Oh, I see. It's just the printing that we did. So we said, okay, workbook loaded for the first one. And then for the second one, it gives us the names of the sheets that we grabbed. So let's go ahead and see what they have us doing next. How many sheets are in the workbook? Are there any hidden sheets? How big is each sheet? So let's see what it tells us. So we've got a dashboard sheet that's visible. It got some metadata about it. That's just exciting. You got 100 rows, 26 columns, 14 cells that are used, 5 formulas. Let's keep on looking through these. Similar set of information there. And then just that nice little table format of our inventory of tabs. That's pretty useful. I like that. Now extract every formula in the workbook. That's pretty cool. So this is going to give us all of the formulas in the workbook, specifically telling us information about like what sheet it's in, what cell it's in, what the formula is. And you can see this one's referencing a different tab in the workbook. A note of whether it is a cross-sheet reference or not, which it is deriving. It just uses the exclamation mark to derive whether there's a cross-sheet reference, which is, probably fairly safe for a simple version like this. And then it's just grabbing a couple of other pieces of information, like which formulas are in it, like if it uses a sum, an if statement, or a count if, just for fun. Let's go on and see accounting angle. Perfect. Now we're going to add some accounting aspects to it. So like which sheets drive the workbook? Where are the key formulas? Are they consistent? Are there cross-sheet links? Are there any formulas in e-manual review? So that's not, I wouldn't call that an accounting angle. That's maybe AI's attempt to say this is the accounting piece of it. But I would say this is getting us a little bit more insight into, was the workbook designed correctly, and how is it designed? How does it relate to itself? So finding potential hard codes near formulas. So what we're going to do is find hard-coded numbers. And again, makes a good point. Hard-coded numbers are not automatically bad, but it could be a problem if it's something that should be a formula. And so it's looking to see relative to other formulas, is anything hard-coded? And so it's telling us the cell, the value, the reason why it flagged it, and just to have that inventory. And then this is another good one too, blank cells inside areas that are used. This is finding blank cells. And what could be interesting, I don't know if we can do this, but maybe we can, is have it highlight these in the workbook itself. So that way we can see kind of color-coded highlights of things that it found. That would be valuable. We'll see if we can do that next. So because this has a closed checklist sheet, we can inspect that specifically. What is not complete, which high-risk items are still open, which items have missing evidence links. Oh, that's interesting. So this obviously would depend on the sheet being set up exactly like this, but it could be interesting thinking about like automatic reviews of a work paper in the accounting field. If there's, certain steps that have to be done as part of the close process, and there's a consistent way of documenting it, and somebody needs to just, review or validate what's been done or check to see how much has been done. This could be a nice automated way to check that without having to manually review it. So this has, let's see, missing evidence links 4. And it's, how is it deriving that there's a missing evidence link? Oh, I guess if there's a link in the evidence link. I actually have the workbook open so we can go and actually check it itself. So check close list. Yeah, evidence link. So I guess the idea would be assuming whoever's preparing this does not create the evidence link until it's available. That's a big assumption because sometimes you roll these things forward. Then it would accurately identify one of these as not completed because the cell is blank. So that's cool. Let's see what else it does. Create a review report workbook. So it's going to create a separate Excel workbook that includes workbook inventory, formula inventory, hardcoded findings, and checklist findings. That's pretty cool. And that saves, did it save here? I am guessing it should save right here. Yep, there it is. And we can download it. Oh, that didn't work. Files, yeah. Oh, interesting. Let's go back and actually load that formula back up. So let's do this. Okay, cancel upload. Oh, I see. So this would have let me upload the file if I hadn't already uploaded it. So now we can go back down here and download the file. And sure enough, there it is. So that's going to be the final review file. Update, maybe. All right, let's make this a little smaller so you can see it. And then I'll make it bigger so you can see it. Let's see what we have here. Workbook inventory. That's nice. So instead of reviewing the tables in the Jupyter Notebook, we can review it in this format. So this is, yeah, that's a problem. So this is actually including the formulas, but what these should have done is had a, little quote in front, so that way it doesn't actually try to evaluate the formula in Excel. So that's pretty funny. Potential hard codes, that's useful. Again, I think it'd be more useful if it highlighted it in the workbook itself. So that'll be interesting to see if we can do that. All right, well, that was interesting. That was pretty cool. Let's go back and just summarize what we've done so far. So what Openpyxl just did for us is it identified any hidden tabs, which there were none. It told us which tabs were in the workbook. It helped us find the formulas. It helped us determine where hard-coded numbers were. It helped us see which missing cells there are, and specifically, in our case, which checklist items were not done, and then created a review workbook. So it didn't do any accounting stuff yet, but that's okay. I mean, you can get access to the different values and use it to do some, validation and accounting calculations. So let's, I'm going to check real quick to see if we can edit that workbook, because I would love to see if we can highlight those cells. All right, so had a little AI help. Again, I'm not creating AI processes here, but I didn't say I wouldn't use AI to help me write the code. So what I did was I asked ChatGPT to help me create a bonus section here where we can create a marked up copy of this file. So let's see if it works. So I'm going to hit go. And what this should have done is created a marked up version of the same file where it will indicate using highlights where those potential issues are that we talked about. So this is the legend. We've got blue is a formula cell, yellow is potential hard code, and orange is a blank cell. And those are formulas, and there we go. So you've got let's see, orange is the blank cell, yellow is the hard code, and there you go. Those are hard coded. These are formulas. These are blank cells. And did it add a note? That's pretty cool if it did. Work paper note? Yeah, it sure did. Blank cell inside. Oh my gosh, I love that. So that's pretty neat. The ability for it to go in and not just highlight, but add, Excel notes to these. So, well, there you have it. Openpyxl can do quite a bit. And again, it's not AI. It is Python. So if you can, and this is one of the patterns that I really like doing with AI is if you use AI to help you write Python code and then use that Python code as an automated process with a work paper, then you've sort of got the best of both worlds because you've sped up the process of creating some automation. But then from an accounting perspective, you have this Python code that is deterministic. It's going to do the same thing every time. And so you don't have to worry about, somebody else, like if you're doing audit work, somebody else trying to get AI to produce the same results because that's problematic. But if you give them Python code and say, this is the code we used to do this analysis, you can rerun that same Python code and it's going to do the same thing every time as long as the inputs are the same. Now, if you use AI to help you get there, that's just a way to speed it up, but then you can still review it, make sure that the outputs are right. So a little bit of a distinction there, but that was our next 30 days of Python, and OpenPyXL was awesome, and we'll see you at the next one.